Hello race fans, and welcome back to the SRAM Downhill Southeast Series. I'm your host Will Wash, and myself and the crew are so stoked to bring you all the action from round number 2 of our 2023 series. We're here at Ride Rock Creek in Zirconia, North Carolina, the newest shuttle access bike park in the Southeast. Building on the momentum from our early season race at Trials Training Center and the Tennessee National, we've got a stacked field of pro women and pro men ready to tackle the track here at Ride Rock Creek. And the pros aren't the only ones getting in on the action this weekend. We've set a new record for riders at a Downhill Southeast race with 440 racers taking part in round number 2 here at Ride Rock Creek. So let's dive into all the action of this race weekend. World-class downhill athletes have called this area home long before we had bike parks like Cayuga and Ride Rock Creek. So let's go catch up with a local pro from right down the street in Pisgah Forest, Luca Shaw. Well, we're here with Luca Shaw. Luca, we're so glad to have you back on the show. How are you doing this weekend?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm enjoying my home race and supporting the local race scene.
Well, I know you're excited to be back on the bike. You had a little bit of time off early in this season, and you've been back on the bike for about a month now. How are you feeling out there?
Really good. Yeah, I broke my thumb in January, so had to have like a little surgery to put the bone back in place. But it took longer than I hoped, of course. I always wanted to be back yesterday. But no, it's good now. It doesn't bother me on the bike, and yeah, back riding for 3-4 weeks already. So stoked to be back on 2 wheels.
Tell us a little bit about how it's been having this shuttle access bike park at Rock Creek, essentially your backyard.
Yeah, it's like a dream come true. Like I woke up in my own bed, drove here, and now we're at a race with 450 people. Like it's like pinch me, you know. So it's been honestly so much fun. Like before, it was an all-day thing to go ride downhill, and now I can text a few buddies and be like, "Hey, I'll be there in half an hour. You guys want to ride?" And like that's been really, really cool.
Yeah, and we're so stoked to have you at this race. We know that you got a busy schedule, and I think you're flying out to Europe on Monday. What made you want to be here for Downhill Southeast?
I mean, a bunch of reasons, mainly just because I want to, do a race and on a good track and support the scene, right? But yeah, we're flying on Monday to Europe for the next couple months, and the idea was for us to get some race practice in before the season, and that's exactly why I'm here. There's nothing quite like racing, like hearing those start gate beeps. Like whether you're riding good and everything, it's like you need to kind of put yourself in that environment and get comfortable there.
Who are you seeing in the crop of current U.S. downhill riders that might make some noise this year that people may not have heard of or may not have seen at the top before?
One guy I think is going to surprise some people this year is Ryan Pinkerton. He's been out here a little bit riding and stuff, and I feel like he's gotten a lot faster.
Nice. Yeah, he's the current national champ for juniors, but yeah, he's got another year under his belt and he's got a lot of support. So we've got some variable track conditions here at Rock Creek for the race this weekend, and I noticed you're wrenching on your own bike. That's a lot of mud. That's a lot of lubing. How is it like keeping your rig dialed at a local race?
Honestly, it's kind of fun. It's not ideal by any means. I'm not anywhere close to a professional mechanic, but...
When's the last time you've had to emergency change a tire at a race by yourself before a seating or a race run?
It's been a while. I usually try to be a little prepared with like a spare set of wheels with tires ready to go. So it's all about preparation, Will. So you won't catch me stressing like that.
You won't be sweating.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Nice. Well, sounds like a perfect warm-up for your trip next week over to Europe, and yeah, can't wait to see you tackle this track, Luca.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Boom.
The Stampede Race Course here at Ride Rock Creek drops in off the flanks of Pinnacle Mountain in Henderson County. The track descends 700 vertical feet over 0.9 miles. What this track lacks in length, it makes up for with big features and technicality. It's the brainchild of Neko Mulally. Let's go check in with him to learn more about the track. The Stampede Racetrack here at Ride Rock Creek is the newest track on the Downhill Southeast circuit, And it's certainly a memorable track. We're here with Neko Mulally, who put this course together. Neko, tell us about this track.
Yeah, I was really excited to build this track last fall. It was a dream of mine to have a downhill track in Western North Carolina to train on.
Yeah, well, let's talk about some of those signature features, because it's really relentless from top to bottom. And right off the bat, racers have about a 2-part rock garden that goes into a huge log drop.
Yeah, so that first section is a ton of rock we got from building the shuttle road. We hauled it up there, tried to arrange it so that it felt like a natural rough rock garden, even though it was man-made. A couple of G-outs and drops along the way. And then that huge log I found in the woods, and I thought it'd be rude not to put it in the middle of the trail. Yeah, it makes for a mix of sharp square edge compressions and big G-outs.
Speaking of G-outs, as you get about halfway down the course, there's just an obtrusive G-out with, what looks to the naked eye as a potential to jump over it. But when you look at it, you think, no one's really doing that. But some of the guys are pulling that move. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see the guys jump that. It's pretty gnarly. It's a downhill takeoff, and it's a G-out into a rock garden. It's probably the least fun part of the whole trail. Like, none of the trail was supposed to be fun. I hope people didn't think that this was my idea of a nice trail to ride. It was a test. But that section in particular is a gnarly G-out into a flat rock garden. So your bike is G'd out, and then you're taking more hits while it's bottomed out. It's faster to jump over it if you can, but it's a gnarly pool. It's not natural. It feels very difficult to get the lift from a downhill takeoff, so I'm impressed that these guys are jumping over it.
As you get lower down on this course, there's a bunch of amazing turns, and we know that turns are one of the best separators on a racetrack. Tell us about those turns and what kind of rider does it take to really nail that bottom section?
So the bottom section is a little different, where it's more of a flow trail with some jumps, some berms, some high-speed stuff. We don't maintain it, so I like it when it gets holes in it and gets rough like a proper racetrack. But I think it takes a rider that's good with their weighting the bike, pumping the berms, pumping the downsides.
Well, the track is looking amazing. We can't wait to see the racers tackle the course. Any predictions?
Yeah, any of 5 guys, Luca, Dooley, Gwyn, Asa, and Ryan Pinkerton. All those guys, obviously they're the fastest guys. It's not a huge, bold prediction, but you can throw it up and see who wins. I think it's going to be a really good race.
Downhill Southeast has been attracting racers from all over North America, and we're super stoked to have 3-time Canadian downhill national champion and 2017 world champion Miranda Miller with us here at Ride Rock Creek. So let's check in with Miranda and see what she's been up to as she continues to promote the sport of downhill racing. How are you getting on with the track here at Ride Rock Creek, and how are these grassroots events helpful for folks that want to get into downhill and up their skills?
Yeah, so that's what's so cool I think about like this race series is I personally always found like you would progress so much at a downhill event because you're so focused on those laps you're doing, and it's repeatable. It's a really cool opportunity for people to kind of progress their riding, try racing, see if they like it, see if they don't. I think a lot of people are surprised when they come to races and see how much they like it. I think it's like you create like a new community for yourself, and I think that's what a lot of people come back for.
Yeah, we've got an awesome community here at Downhill Southeast, and everyone gets really excited for the pro race on Sunday, and we're stoked to have you as a part of it.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Thanks for having me, and it feels good to be back on a downhill bike.
For pro women's seating, it was Miranda Miller who seated in first place with a 236.19. Shell Peugeot was right behind her with a 236.8, and Riley Miller seated in third with a 241.2. Well, let's start out with our current hot seat rider, Majo Montoya, the 23-year-old Honduran, who's here in the U.S. chasing her downhill dreams. Seated in fourth yesterday and currently on our hot seat. It's our first peek at the conditions here for elite women. They've been consistently changing throughout the weekend, but one thing we've noticed here is that Rock Creek dries out really fast, so these conditions already getting close to perfect for finals. Nice big send there from Montoya. Plenty of sends to go around here on the Stampede track. Oh, and a nice case right there, but she's safely over that big road gap. So many different features to tick off, as we heard Miranda Miller talking about earlier, to make it down this track. And it's a 2:38, so Montoya dropped 10 seconds off her seating time. As we jump to our top 3 riders, Riley Miller from Burke, Vermont, qualified with a 2:41.2, and she's riding for the Killington Mountain School. Having a great season so far this year in 2023 with a win in Elite Women at the Costa Rica Open, a UCI race in Costa Rica in February. I like that line right there from Miller. Going to the outside, avoiding some of those big hits. But you can't avoid the big hits for long as Miller sends it off that log. Split number 1, and she's up by 2 seconds. So the girl from the Green Mountain State, green at split number 1, continuing to battle these huge compressions on the Stampede track at Rock Creek. And I know a rider like Riley Miller only going to continue to get faster as this course goes on. She really excels on these bike park style sections, and she's extended it 2.34 seconds. Oh, and a nice scrub. She decided not to triple that and stay really low. Goes double pump there and ripping these berms. Well, here comes Miller into the final section. She was up by 2.34 seconds, and she's crushed this bottom section. She goes green by 7 seconds. It's a 2:30.91, 6 seconds faster than our fastest qualifying time from yesterday. And here's Shell Peugeot. She qualified with a 2:36.8, so she's going to have to drop some serious time to knock Riley Miller off the hot seat. Peugeot was second place at round number 1 for the SRAM Downhill Southeast. Shell dives into this rock section. Whoa, a little bit offline right there. I mean, there's so much mud in those compressions from the weekend of practicing. Whoa, Shell getting a little off balance right there. It's a tough rhythm. And she's back. Yeah, a little bit wild on that top section, so she's 3.2 back. Good bit of track yet to come, but we just saw Riley Miller nail this bottom section. All right, Shell kind of tiptoeing a little bit there, finding her line. Oh, no holding back over that. She's lost a little bit more time, 3.85 back. Let's see what Shell can do to the finish. That might actually put her back into third if she can't make up some time. Oh, nice to the transition there on that step down. But she's going to cross the line red, 7.67 back. That's going to put her in third place behind Montoya and Miller. Shell saying that one hurt. Yeah, this track will put a hurt on you, but Miranda Miller put a hurt on everyone in seeding, taking the top spot. It was a 2:36.19. So she's got to drop some time if she wants to beat Riley Miller today. And Miranda just now getting back on the downhill bike for the first time in quite a while. Perfect place to get reacquainted with the big bike here at Ride Rock Creek. Oh, and she's tidy on that inside and on the pedals. So extremely clean there from Miller. Yeah, really composed off that drop as well. This is going to be good. Oh, she's up by 2.46. A brilliant run so far from Miranda. Yeah, she's able to push through that G out, continue to hold speed. Miller's a 3-time Canadian national champion. Of course, the 2017 world champion, and she has extended. Oh, and interesting, that looked pretty fast. She went around that road gap. Opted not to take that. And hey, there's so much to get through on this track. Sometimes you just got to take your own line on a feature. That looked to work out extremely well for Miranda Miller. Did not lose any time there. So she was up by 2 seconds on Riley Miller. Let's see what it comes to at the line. She's lost a little bit of time, but she's green. Miranda Miller going to take the win. A 2:29.7, 1.27 up on Riley Miller. You can see a smile of relief because that run is done. Here's your women's podium. Majo Montoya in third, Riley Miller in second, and Miranda Miller taking the win here at round number 2 of the SRAM Downhill Southeast at Ride Rock Creek.
It was pretty good, actually. I had like one pretty big moment, but I was pretty happy with how I managed to like just keep my head in the game and push to the end. It was cool to do a full like kind of faster lap, and there's a lot of spots where you kind of don't realize, but you're throwing a lot of pedal strokes, so I was happy when I crossed that line. Yeah, it was incredible, like crossing the line and like getting that race run in, and like it was so cool, like down the track, like so many people are there, and they you know, they know your name and they're cheering for you, and it's like just such a cool feeling and good community. I'm gonna go home and tell people to look at this series to kind of like, you know, I think Downhill Southeast is paving the way, and there's a lot to learn from this race series. I think it's one of the best series I've ever done, honestly. Yeah, thanks for having me. I love it. I hope to come back again next winter.
For pro men's seating, Asa Vermette put down an incredible run to come out on top with a 2:03.34. Just behind him on the same second was Ryan Pinkerton as the Young Guns go 1 and 2 in seating. Aaron Gwynn was third with a 2:04.18, with Luca Shaw in fourth with a 2:05.27. Tyler Irvin was fifth, Austin Dooley was sixth, Tristan Lemire, Lucas Dodora, Colin Michaelia, and Walker Shaw round out our top 10. Well, Colin Michaelia will be our first rider on track. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona, and he's currently in the hot seat. Does a lot of riding with Ryan Pinkerton and some of the other really fast young American riders. See how this course is shaping up for the pro men. It looks to be getting even better than what we saw for the women. Michaelia looking really smooth right there. You can see this track starting to cut up. We're starting to get some more roots in places. I mean, this track is less than a year old. Only the second race on it. We had a test event in November. So riders are still kind of figuring out the flow, and you know, Neko doesn't want folks going too fast, so he's put some new twists in for this race. One of my favorite sections right here, just a big old step down, and then a bunch of different options right there on that 4-pack of rollers. I'm sure we'll see a few different lines as Michaelia ripping these bottom berms. Such a fun bit of track to finish off a race run. Oh, and Michaelia giving us a tug there on the final jump. That's going to be something to watch out for as he crosses the line with a 2:09.12. As we jump into our top 8, Lucas Dodora from Huntington Station, New York. He's riding for Pro Builds Racing this year, just 16 years of age. He had a great start to his season. He was with us at the Trials Training Center, was 5th there. He's trying to get comfortable up here with the big dogs, surprising himself a little bit, I think, with some of his results so far this year. Oh, but just look at the way he has command over his bike. Young man on the pedals right there. Oh, and a nice send right there. Some riders can get out of sorts, so it's good to see a very in-control section right there from Dodora as he sets up wide. Love that line. Split number 1 for Lucas, and he's in the green. 1.44 in the green. Still looking like he's got some gas in the tank. There's just so many hits on this Stampede track. It can wear you down, although it's short on time. Yeah, Dodora able to keep it on that inside rut. Definitely a section where you could throw it away. And he's extended 2.79 in the green. And look at the stees on him. Setting up in the air, going for the triple right there. This is a great run from Lucas Dodora as he absolutely nails the right-hander. What's he going to do on this final jump? Can he extend that lead? Surely he's going into the hot seat. And Dodora will go fastest, 4.23 into the green. A massive run there for the Pro Builds Racing rider. And we're moving on to his teammate, Tristan Lemire from Bromont, Quebec. He's on the Transition Factory team. Kind of a satellite team with the Pro Builds Racing squad. Oh, Lemire looking good up top. Yeah, very composed. Easy to get shot low in that turn, and he stuck that inside line. He was 8th at the Tennessee National just a couple weeks ago and was 2nd place at our Downhill Southeast race in Mountain Creek last year. Lemire keeping the flow in there. Just going to let the front wheel touch down ever so slightly on those rock stairs. Coming up to split number 1, 0.69 into the red. So he's back on Lucas Dodora, but just ever so slightly. Let's see what Lemire can do here. Yep, he's on that inside rut as well. Coming to these big berms, and he's clawed back a little bit of time, so he's just 1/10 back at split number 2. Opts for the big triple there. Smooth into those back-to-back berms. So Lemire, he was down by just 1/10 of a second. Can he take over the hot seat from Lucas Dodora? They've been riding together this weekend, practicing, and it's not going to be the hot seat for Lemire. He's back by 0.25. Going to slot into 2nd place. Well, here's Austin Dooley out of Yucaipa, California. 209.17. Good enough for 6th place in qualifying yesterday. And Austin has certainly cemented himself as one of the top American downhill racers. Oh, and you love to see the double there at the top. So the pace is picking up as we get deeper into the order here at Rock Creek. Very high on that off camber. And Dooley wasting no time in that steep and deep section off the log drop. This is looking like a good one from Dooley. He was 5th at the Tennessee National, had a top 10 at the Portugal Cup against a bunch of European pros. And he's just back now. Split number 1 will be red for Dooley, but it's just 0.29. Woo! And a big double there from Dooley. He's jumping over a compression. Have to watch to see who else can pull off that line, because that's going to gain you valuable time. Also save you some energy as well. And he's still back, but it's just 1/10 of a second, so nothing in it. Dooley's going to scrub and pull for that big double. Oh, that's worth way more than 1/10 of a second as Dooley barrels towards the finish line. Had his first top 20 at a World Cup last year in Elite. So a man poised for a breakout year as he goes big over that last jump. And it will be fastest for Dooley, 0.7 into the green, a 2:04.16. Well, that was a clean run from Austin Dooley. Let's see what Tyler Irvin can do out of Alpine, California. Had a 2:06.97 in qualifying that put him in 5th place. He had a couple seconds up on Dooley in that qualifying round, so let's see if Irvin can repeat that. Oh, nice and tidy over those big rocks at the top. Gets pushed maybe a little bit wide right there in the right-hander. Still plenty of time to get into your run. Irvin was 6th at the Tennessee National in a stacked field with all of the top U.S. pros there and an international flavor as well. So definitely a man not lacking in confidence when you see yourself up there with the biggest names in the sport. Split number 1, he's back, but just 0.4 back on Austin Dooley. Bouncing through that compression, so not the gap we saw from Dooley, the rider before. Locked into that rut. That's so much harder to get than it looks on film. And he's back by just 0.6 now, so still in touch. What's he got for us here? The scrub to double. So Tyler Irvin making his way down to the finish line. He's in touch with Austin Dooley, but going to have to do something special to pull back 0.6. Irvin, he'll go outside that time into 3rd place, 0.8 seconds back on Dooley. And here is Luca Shaw from right down the street in Pisgah Forest, North Carolina. Put down a 2:05.27 yesterday. He looks confident for racing today. Was 4th place in that qualifying session. a guy that's had tires on dirt in Henderson County for well over a decade. He's got a decade of experience on the World Cup at this point as he just throws it into that top rock garden. Oh, Luca looking visibly quick up there, extremely clean, not losing traction in the right-hander at all. Oh, wow. Tons of speed into that steep section, almost gapping off that first rock section. Definitely a man that could be on pace for the win today. Known for his silky smooth style, and he's green by 1.42. That is massive on this top sector. And Luca went big there over the compression as well, so he's hitting all these major moves that you need to do to win this race. So Shaw has been building momentum so far this year. A little bit of a setback with injury up to split 2. He's extended 2.8 into the green, but he is definitely back up to full pace. Oh, he's going to keep it low and super clean over that double. Oh, doubling into those back-to-back berms. This is going to be a good run from Shaw. Luca's up and over the final jump. A little bit of style for the crowd. And he's going to break the beam. 201.4, 2.76 into the hot seat, dropping 4 seconds off that time from seating. We're here down in the finish line. Luca Shaw just finished up his run. It was a 2:01. Luca dropped 4 seconds off your seating time for yesterday. How's the track?
Yeah, the track is getting better now that, sorry, I'm still trying to catch my breath, Will. Yeah, the track's pretty good. It's not maybe as fast as it was yesterday, I think. Still a little bit greasy from the rain last night, but it's getting better every minute, so.
Well, I'll take the mic back from you, let you catch your breath. How was your run for you right there? I know there's a bunch of big moves to link together. Did you get them?
Yeah, I had a pretty good run. Not, no big mistakes. Little stall kind of at the top, but it's kind of hard to push on this track. Like it's fast and yeah, easy to make mistakes. So, but no, I'm happy with my run.
Heck yeah, man. Solid run. Let's get to the top 3 racers. And here is Aaron Gwynn, qualified in 3rd yesterday with the 2:04.18. We've already seen that time go by with that run from Luca Shaw. Aaron, a man who needs no introduction, really getting back up to pace these past few years after some seasons with injury. Oh, and how smooth was that through those top rocks, his body just staying completely composed. Gwynn had a great race at the Tennessee National. 2nd place there at Windrock, a place where he trains a bunch. Oh, and went deep there off the log. Yeah, speaking of training, he was actually out here earlier this spring at Ride Rock Creek with Neko Mulally as Gwynn goes deep there, gapping all the way into that next compression. Have not seen that yet. Oh, and he's up by over a second. It's 1.18 in the green for Aaron Gwynn. Gwynn's always a man who's going to have unique lines on track. Let's see what he can do down here. Oh, getting wild there over the front. Able to hold it together, though. And Gwynn's way outside. Look at the line. Wow. Bit of a risk there from Gwynn, but he's still up. 0.96 was searching for a little bit extra. And he's going triple single there. So Gwynn still up by a second on Luca Shaw. Can he hold that to the bottom using all of the edges of this track that Neko Mulally built here in Rock Creek? And he's inside. Oh, and he's tugging it up and over that final jump. Gwynn to the line. And he's into the lead. 2 minutes flat, 0.72, 6/10 up on Luca Shaw. Little shake of the head there. He knows he had a mistake up there, but he was risking it, trying to find that extra time today on race day. And here's Ryan Pinkerton. He's all smiles, the California kid. Qualified with a 2:03.92. He's doing it for GT Factory Racing. He is our current national champion, 17-18 junior expert, and had a great first year on the World Cup last year and doubling there through the top rocks. Well, Pinkerton ready to take the risks that will be required to take the win here at Downhill Southeast. Looking mighty fine so far. You could hear him breathing, trying to keep the heart rate down. And a very interesting line right there. Went around that steep rock drop. I don't know if maybe it's been a little slick and he's just got more traction, but that looked good from where I'm at. And very smooth into that compression as well. A similar line that we saw Aaron Gwynn take. And he's back by 1.53. Aggressive off the bridge there from Pinkerton. So a lot of ground to make up for Ryan Pinkerton on Aaron Gwynn, a man that you don't want to spot any time to. Pinkerton found his pace on the World Cup circuit last year, second at Bound Souls. He loses a little bit more time. Looking composed, he's going to squash double-double there. That seems to be the fast line. Oh, roosting that right-hander. So Pinkerton was back on Gwynn by over 2 seconds. Gets that final jump pretty good. Things starting to dry up here at the finish line. And Pinkerton will go 2:02.42. So he goes outside that time of Luca Shaw, 1.7 back on Aaron Gwynn. That brings us to our final rider, Asa Vermette. He's from Durango, Colorado. Qualified with a 2:03.34, and you know this kid has more in the tank. Vermette, just a special rider for being so young, so composed. Let's see what Vermette's got in this top section. Oh yeah, just pulling up, doubling over everything. Locked in there on the right-hand corner. Let's see what Vermette does once it gets a little more steep and deep here. Yep, straight down the gut there, just running over everything. It doesn't matter what the bike's doing. Very smooth on this section as well. Vermette was third at the US Open last year in the pro class, and he's back by just 0.34, so very much in touch with Aaron Gwynn. And Vermette over that big compression. He's been doing some crazy things in this section all week, delivering here in the race run. Certainly the future of US Downhill is right in front of us on the screen as Vermette is now up. He's turned it around. 0.67 into the green. He transfers there over the step down to set up for the berm. So Vermette opening it up at the bottom of this course in Rock Creek. Perfect on that double into the berm. Surely he's not lost any time, and he was up by 0.67. Can he knock Gwynn off the top step this afternoon? Asa Vermette down to the line, and Vermette will do it. It's a 158.61, over 2 seconds up on Aaron Gwynn. That is incredible from the youngster. Oh, Vermette's got to be so stoked with that run today. Racing some of the fastest in the country here at Downhill Southeast. And it's Asa Vermette stepping up today to take the win. There he goes to soak it all up on that podium, sharing it with Luca Shaw, who'll finish in third place, and Aaron Gwynn, the greatest American downhill racer of all time, there in second. But today it's all about Asa enjoying the top step of that podium, taking the win at round number 2 of Downhill Southeast here at Ride Rock Creek.
We got here a bit early, just wanted to ride my bike because it's been winter. I live in Colorado, bunch of snow, can't ride my bike yet, but it was good just riding here, getting used to it. And I don't know, I'm so stoked. Aaron Gwynn, Luca Shaw, Pinkerton, bunch of fast guys. It was insane. I can't believe that. For my race run, it was perfect. You could trust the berms totally, rip everything, all the off cambers, all the fresh sections were dialed. I loved it. It was a perfect run.
Yeah, so kind of exciting. SRAM and I teamed up to do like a giveaway for the fastest men and women's amateur time. So that was anyone in the Cat 1 that wasn't in Pro Cat. And we gave away $500 and a RockShox boxer to the winners. So, you know, pretty cool. A little kind of surprise for some of them, I think. Yeah, it makes you feel pretty good, you know? Giving away stuff's cool. And like, I remember being a young rider and like everything helped, you know? You're trying to save to go to the next race, things like that, even give that $500 for gas money, food money for the weekend, it makes a huge difference. And so, yeah, it's kind of cool to like give back a little bit.
With round number 2 in the books, we look forward to the month of May, and the Downhill Southeast calendar really heats up with Windrock Bike Park on the schedule May 5th through 7th for round number 3. And then we're going to Jersey, back to Mountain Creek Bike Park for round number 4 of the SRAM Downhill Southeast, combined with the second round of the USA Cycling National Series. That will bring us to the halfway point of our 7-round season. What an incredible weekend of racing here at Ride Rock Creek for round number 2 of the SRAM Downhill Southeast Series. Congratulations to all the racers, and thank you so much to the families and the supporters of the series for coming out and making this the biggest Downhill Southeast race in history. We'll see you guys at Windrock for round number 3, May 5th through 7th, and until then, enjoy riding your bike. I've been Trill Will, and on behalf of the crew, thanks for watching.